Greg and Jeff, are you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Really good.
we're good. Okay, hello everyone. The public hearings required on ordinances 9281, 9283, and 9285 are now open. A public hearing is a meeting that provides the opportunity for public discussion regarding ordinances and other matters pending before City Council. Interested parties may express their views and submit evidence supporting those views. The information shared will become part of the city's permanent record and may be used by the members of City Council in deciding whether or not to adopt the ordinance. Tonight, 3 ordinances are at issue. First, we will consider Ordinance 9281, which authorizes the placement of 416 West Wooster Street on the local historic register with historic overlay zoning as suggested by the Historic Preservation Commission. There are usually 4 parts to our public hearings: the staff report, the applicant or petitioner's testimony, public testimony, and then discussion by members of City Council. So we will now receive the staff report from Planning Director Heather Saylor on Ordinance 9281.
Thank you. So I have a copy of a handout in front of you summarizing this request. So this did start with the applicant making an application, which is part of your packet. The recommendation to designate this property originated from the property owners, as I mentioned, starts with the HPC, Historic Preservation Commission. They held their required public hearing on March 25th. They referred this with a positive recommendation to City Council, and that includes a memo that is also part of your packet in front of you. And then it also includes a property inventory form, which basically summarizes the building architecture significance, past use, and some pictures. And the City Council then referred that request to the Planning Commission on April 7th. Planning Commission did also recommend approval of this request to City Council at their May 7th meeting. Here are again a few pictures summarizing the front of the building and then a couple of different features of the inside. And then we gave you a copy of the map that highlights the property in orange. And then we thought it was interesting to see how this attaches basically to the North Maple Historic District, the first historic district that was approved a few months ago. So again, gave you a copy of the application, and also I wanted to make sure you are aware that it's a portion of the parcel, so not the entire parcel, but parcel A as described on the attached documents. There's also a survey there highlighting the actual portion of the parcel. And that is basically it. I know we've talked a lot about this property before, the historical significance of it and prior rezoning hearings. So unless there's any questions about any of the process or anything else, please let me know.
Okay, thanks, Heather. Any questions for Heather at this time?
No, not right.
Jeff?
No.
Okay, thanks, Heather. So as Heather stated, this designation request originated with Anissa Miller, the trustee as property owner and applicant. Is Ms. Miller or a representative here that would like to address the committee at this time? Come on up, sir.
Thank you. Excuse me. Good evening. I'm Tom Botsberger, attorney, along with my colleague, Staten Middleton. We represent Anissa Miller, trustee of the Anissa Miller Living Trust, the titled owner of the subject property. As has been mentioned, the application concerns a portion of the property. There are 3 parcels, A, B, and C. Parcel C was deeded to Dunn Funeral Home some months ago. Parcel B is a back parcel that no portion of the structure on parcel A impedes upon parcel B. So it's just the front part, south part of the property facing West Wooster Street. On March 25th, we appeared before the Historic Preservation Committee, and we were very happy that they favorably passed on the application to designate the subject property an historic property in the local historic register, which would include the addition of the historic overlay zoning. Just a couple updates on what's happening. Anissa is preparing to start inside demolition, has identified a demolition contractor. That's going to occur shortly. If you pass favorably on the enabling ordinance and accept the historic preservation commission recommendation and the zoning department's recommendation, this will better enable Anissa to apply for Ohio historic tax credits. We've looked into that. There's an upcoming meeting that she's going to participate in. I think that a favorable consideration and passage of the subject ordinance will also greatly improve her chances of successful application in that regard. I may have mentioned it, I think I did before the Preservation Commission, that in the past, I've spoken with people from the state of Ohio running the credit tax program, and they are particularly interested in Wood County. There's only been one application previously that was subsequently withdrawn for Wood County. So they're very interested to receive something from Wood County along these lines. Obviously doesn't guarantee approval, but I think that is a good sign. So, Anissa, do you want to make any comments? Okay. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Any questions for Mr. Botsberger?
Okay. Thank you all.
Why
Oh,
did
excuse
you
me.
why did you opt to exclude the 0.2 acres on the back half?
That's a good question. The property was originally deeded as a whole to Anissa by Carl Hanneman or Hanneman Funeral Homes. It was subsequently divided into 3 parcels. One of the reasons for doing that, Tim Dunn expressed an interest in a portion of the property to the east side so they could create greater ingress and egress from their back parking lot. So we entered into a contract, had the property surveyed, and that property, as I said before, was designated Parcel C, which was then deeded accordingly to Dunn's. The B parcel abuts Anissa's home at 124 North Maple. I knew it was North Maple, I thought it was 124. At some point, she might try to join the property, the B parcel, with her home parcel at 124 North Maple. The B parcel is not necessary to accomplish her intended use of the A parcel. So we're here tonight on a portion A parcel exclusive of B. C, she no longer owns.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
We are now to the part of the public hearing where we hear any testimony from the public. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the committee at this time? Jody, did we receive any correspondence?
We did not.
Okay. So the members of the committee now have an opportunity to discuss this ordinance if we would like. Greg and Jeff, any comments at this time?
No.
I do not. No.
Okay. So we'll keep moving along. Thanks, everyone. This concludes the portion of the public hearing on ordinance 9281. So we will move next to ordinance 9283. Ordinance 9283 establishes interim zoning of R1 low-density residential zoning for the approximately 2.66 acres of land located at 556 Sand Ridge Road and recently annexed to the city as petitioned for by Raymond Curis, agent and petitioner. We will again receive the staff report on ordinance 9283 from our planning director, Heather Saylor.
Thank you. So Planning Commission did review this request on May 7th, and they recommended the interim zoning of R1 low-density residential. I gave you a copy in your handout of the R1 zone standards, and included the list of permitted and conditional uses. I just noticed a typo, sorry about that. I have innovation and employment, IE, on there, but it's actually the R1 that we took all these from. And then I gave you a copy of a map that shows the neighboring zoning classifications, including the neighboring zoning in Plain Township and then within the city. In our Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission talked a lot about how these are larger residential lots, and it seemed like the R1 was most appropriately matched to those lot sizes that they are now. And there's also currently a home on this one being built. So that is basically it, unless you have any questions.
Greg and Jeff, any questions for Heather?
No.
No.
Okay, thanks, Heather. Next, we will receive any testimony from the agent and petitioner, Ray Curis, if Mr. Curis is in the building. Okay, moving along, we will hear testimony from the public. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the committee at this time? Jody, did we receive any correspondence?
We did not.
Okay, so again, the committee has an opportunity to discuss this ordinance if we would like. Any comments at this time, guys?
No.
Okay. So that will conclude the part of the public hearing on ordinance 9283. And we will move to the third and final public hearing on ordinance 9285. Ordinance 9285 establishes interim zoning of R1 low-density residential zoning for the approximately 2.92 acres of land located at 14618 Sand Ridge Road and recently annexed to the city as petitioned for by JTMG Holdings Limited as petitioner and Anthony Wolf as agent. Heather will deliver the staff report on ordinance 9285.
So same thing from the Planning Commission. They also reviewed this on May 7th and recommended the R1 low-density residential zoning. Again, I gave you a copy of the R1, gave you a copy of the permitted and conditional uses along with a map. As you can see, this is only one parcel over from the property we just discussed, but it is contiguous of the city to the north there at Stone Ridge. And same thing, a house is under construction. They needed city utilities to move forward, and that is why this interim zoning seemed to make the most sense from the Planning Commission perspective.
Okay, thank you. Jeff or Greg, any questions?
None.
Nope.
Okay. We will receive any testimony from JTMG Holdings Limited as the petitioner or Mr. Anthony Wolf, the agent, if anyone is here that would like to address the committee. Okay. Testimony from the public. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the committee at this time? Jody, any correspondence?
None.
Okay. Opportunity to discuss this ordinance. Jeff or Greg, anything at this point?
No issues.
Okay. Jeff, no? All right. So thank you, everyone. This concludes the public hearing on ordinance 9285. We'll now take a short break before 7 o'clock city council meeting.